shade cloth closing. Um, it's electric shade. It's pretty cool. It kind of looks like the whole top is opening up, our whole roof opens up. But it is protected. It's just the shade cloth is on the inside of the greenhouse. The reason we got electric shade cloth, in the wintertime here in California, sometimes it stays overcast for an entire week at a time. In other words, we don't get any sun at all. It stays dark outside. When there's no sun outside, we need to get as much light in here as we can because there's so much grass in here. So during those times in the wintertime when it's overcast, we open up the tops of the greenhouse and allow that indirect sunlight to come in. We also got electric shade cloth for in the summertime. What we do in the summertime is it's on a timer. And when the sun goes down at night, all the shade cloth opens up. When the sun comes out in the morning, all the shade cloth closes. It allows that heat that's been sitting in here all day long in the summer at nighttime to kind of escape through the top of the vent that's open up there and escape out and make it nice and fresh and clean in here. So that's why we got the electric shade cloth. Now the shade cloth on top is 80% shade. I tried to get 90% shade, but they didn't make this particular shade cloth at 90%. They only made 80. The shade cloth up top is especially designed. If you can look up at it, it's got stripes on it. And the striped look is the aluminum strips with kind of air circulation pockets through it, meaning it has openings for air to get through. A lot of shade cloths, if anyone's ever noticed at the Home Depots and whatnot, a lot of shade cloths are solid pieces of shade, meaning it makes it very difficult to get air circulation through. If that top piece was a solid piece of shade cloth, it'd be very hot in here all the time. In the summertime, we have a vent up top that always stays open to allow that hot air to escape out through the top, and we have vents all around the sides of the greenhouse. Now what happens in the summertime, the cool air slides in through the sides and it pushes the hot air up, out through the shade cloth and out the top vent. So that's why we have the air circulation slots in the shade cloth to allow that hot air to escape right through it out the top of the vent. And that's for the summertime. In the wintertime, what we did in here is we have a heater that heats everything up top. But if anybody understands how heat works, it rises. So the problem we were having in the wintertimes in most of our last couple winters in my 2 germination rooms, both rooms were heated at 75 degrees by top heat. And the problem I had was that the bottom 2 shelves of my racks weren't growing because it was that much colder. It was 75 degrees up top, but down the bottom it was only 60 degrees because of the heat rising. So what we did with this greenhouse is we heated our floor. We have hot water running through our floor, and through radiant heat keeps everything nice and warm in here, so we get even growth from the bottom to the top of our racks.
How's the hot water?
Hot water heater. Hot water heater. Yes. The way we have our racks designed, the reason they are designed the way they are is because we had to get a lot of grass in here. We made this greenhouse as big as we could with lemon grove, fire codes, and zonings and whatnot. We couldn't make it any bigger, so we had to get as much grass as we could. Now the old greenhouse was made out of wood, first of all. Wood is not the best thing to use when making racks. It rots. After about 8 or 9 years, that whole old thing that we used to have kind of fell apart. But the way it was designed is it had trays back to back and right on top of each other. And this makes it very, very difficult to get light. It makes it hard to get light for the inside of the trays, and it makes it hard to get watering and air circulation because as the tray grows, it blocks the light, it blocks the air, it blocks the watering, it makes it very, very hard to do anything. So the racks are designed the way they are with a lot of space in between them for that particular reason, to allow the air light, to allow the air circulation, the sunlight, and also they're alternated. So this tray gets as much light as this tray because of the alternation. So that's why the racks are designed. It took us a long time to build these racks and design them and try to, like Lincoln logs with PVC, you can do pretty much anything with them, but it took quite a while. I don't want to say. No, we don't rotate anything. It stays warm, it stays dark, it stays green, it stays everything on every shelf. You get as much light as the top trays. As far as light goes, I do have full spectrum lights in here. They are full spectrum grow lights. I only got full spectrum grow lights just so I can tell you I do, because we don't really ever need to use them because of our electric shade cloth. Now right now there's no sun outside, and as dark as it is, we could probably use some little bit more light in here if it was to stay this way all day. But luckily for us, it gets light and it gets dark, it's light, it gets dark, so we never really have to worry about trying to get more light in here. But we always could because of the full spectrum grow lights. If anybody has to use an indirect sunlight, say you're doing it in your garage and you don't have enough light in there, there's no window or whatever, it's not getting any light in your garage, then use the full spectrum lights, grow lights, wide spectrum, plant lights, rather than just a cool fluorescent white light. And keep it on as the sun would be out. For example, when the sun goes up, turn the light on. When the sun goes down, turn the light off. Allow the grass to go through its natural process at nighttime. Okay, whatever it does at night, it's growing, whatever it's going to do, allow it to do that. I mean, I've heard of people saying keep the light on at 24 hours. I don't agree with that because it doesn't seem natural. When a plant's out there in the wilderness, it gets dark, it gets light. So allow your plants to get some darkness. My bug things are up here. We got a little glue trap to catch most of the flies. I tried bug zappers. The bug zappers really didn't work. They work great for mosquitoes and for bees and moths. Doesn't really work for those little gnats though. Someone said to me one time, well, get natural predators. Natural predators will get rid of all your flies. I said, well, what's a natural predator for these fruit flies? And he told me dragonflies. I said, great, I'll have a greenhouse full of dragonflies, but at least I won't have any more gnats. So I didn't get the dragonflies. But I was reading in a book one time that they sell bat houses and you can buy your own bat. And I said, well, that's pretty cool. And I said, you know, the bat goes out at night, eats 10,000 mosquitoes, and then comes back and sleeps in the house all day. So that would be great for this greenhouse. No one would ever know he's in here. I'd have him in here all day long. At nighttime, we'd close everything up. He'd fly around. He'd eat all the bugs. And he'd go back to sleep during the day. So I'm going to see if I can get him to come out now.
What?
I'm kidding. I don't have a bat. The only reason I don't have a bat is because I don't know where he's going to go back wanna. And I don't know where he's peeing all the time. So if he go in the toilet, then I would get a bat. But other than that, I won't get one. I was playing the classical music. If anybody heard the classical music, I was doing that, and it was so funny. I got yelled at one time for not playing the classical music. You know, a guest is going by and says, "You're not playing the classical music. They used to play classical music here all the time. Why aren't you playing it?" And I was like, relax. It's okay. But I could understand why this person was saying it, only because what they were teaching here in the past was that classical music will make your grass grow 80% faster. No, it won't. I can play the classical music or I could shut the classical music off. The grass still grows just as fast, just as green, just as tall. Everything is identical if I play it or not. So the only reason I still play it, and I still agree with this, is if anyone's ever read, there's a book called The Secret Life of Plants. And what they did in this book, the easiest way to explain is they took a plant, they put it in front of a speaker. When they played rock and roll music out of the speaker, the plant grew away from the speaker. When they played classical music out of the speaker, the plant grew towards the speaker. So the only way to figure that is the vibrational level. There's nothing else involved there but a vibration. If anyone's into the vibration thing, the Celestine Prophecy talks about it a little bit, but how a vibration level, first of all, it's very healing. It keeps us a little bit healthier to hear a vibration, whether it's the human voice or classical music. You know how doctors say when someone's in a coma, doctors will say, go talk to that person. It seems that their readings get a little bit higher, a little bit better when you start talking to them. Well, why is that? There's nothing else happening there but a vibration. So that's why I'm still playing the classical music, to try to increase the potency of the wheatgrass, meaning they're actually trying to do tests now where if this tray of wheatgrass that had classical music playing for it and this tray that hadn't, that when you do the analysis at the end, this tray is going to be higher nutritional content than this one, just by the vibration. So that's what I try to do in here with the classical music. And that's why I don't let anybody in here throughout the week just walking in, because we're trying to keep a little bit more peaceful atmosphere in here. For the grass and for you guys, for your nutrition. All the water that comes into the greenhouse is purified. It goes through a carbon filter. There's so many water filters out there, I didn't even get involved with trying to find one because there's so many. But someone had brought me, they did all the work on it. And they brought me a water filter that was the best for plants. They said it takes the chlorine out of the water, but leaves a lot of the other minerals or whatever's left in our city water. Leaves a lot of whatever's left in it for the plants. So that's the kind of filter we got. It's a carbon filter. So all the water is purified that comes in here. We also do all the soaking of our seeds in this greenhouse. We have about 6 sinks in here, stainless steel sinks, where we do all our soaking. Now those tubs, those are 14-gallon tubs. I got them at I got them at Kmart. And basically the idea of this is, the idea of the sinks and the tubs is that we can put the dry seed right inside the tubs, because I drilled holes in the bottoms of the tubs. So we put the dry seed in, we close the drain, and we fill up the sink at night. So it soaks the seeds. In the morning we come in, all we do is open the drain, and it rinses the seeds. And then we just let them sit in there throughout the day, and once in a while we'll give them a rinse, and we'll plant them the next morning. So they actually sprout and soak right in the same tubs, in the same sinks. When I first got here, they were going from bucket to bucket to bucket, trying to soak and rinse all their seeds. It was a lot of work. It took an extra 2 hours a day just to soak the seeds. There was 5 people in this department, as well as the department head, and they were only doing 50 pounds of seed a day. We're now doing 100 pounds of seed a day, I have 3 people in this department. I can't even keep them busy. Basically because I don't like to work, so I cut down a lot of steps. I scared a lot of people though. It took me 6 months to convince them that these particular trays were better than what they were using. They were spending a half hour a day trying to pull the root mats out of the trays after they were cutting them, and they ended up breaking a lot of them because they were getting stuck in there. So I tend to scare a lot of people that the higher ups here. They tend to not want to agree with change, but it took me 6 months to convince them to use these trays, but then they finally did. Now they realize why. When I was talking about covering your seeds, as you can see, I don't have a germination room. I start everything and finish it on the same rack. You can see there's a few racks that look like there's empty trays on them. Well, there are, but they're covering our seeds. So if you open up, lift up the tray, there's seeds underneath there. Now all we do is in the morning, when someone comes in the morning at 6 o'clock, we take all the trays off and give a nice little water, and then we put the trays back on. At 6 o'clock at night, we do the same thing. We take all the trays off, give another water, and put the trays back on. That's it. For 3 days, we just take the trays off twice a day, give them a water, and put them back on. And in 3 days, we uncover them. They're ready to green up and start growing. That particular rack down there, if you can see that, that just got uncovered yesterday. It's still very small. But it starts to push the tray up a little bit. That's when we can take it off. The roots are in the soil now. It's been 3 days. And they can green up. So we don't have 2 different rooms, and you don't need that at home. It doesn't necessarily need to be kept dark, ever. Okay, it just needs to be kept wet. Again, I said that in class. I'm saying it again because it is important to keep the seed wet. Don't let your seed dry out, and 9 times out of 10 you won't have any problems. Okay, Martin, you can shut off the camera. I'm not sure what else I need to get. This is the outside. Wow, what's that? That's my passport. It's the outside of the greenhouse. Vents all around the sides. It's made from Lexan. I don't know what the hell it is. It's supposed to be better than just like a corrugated, like a fiberglass, but the Lexan's supposed to be a little bit better. That little room here, this is our control room as far as vent control. Take in here. Our water filter's in here. Here's the company that makes our water filter. Life Source. Carbon filter. Cleans itself, this machine. It's a lifetime. Backwashes itself every so and so days, whatever. Classical music. Timer to turn it on and off. Pre-sediment filter for the water filter. Our heater. Gas heater. It's also our heater for our warm floors, as I mentioned inside there. There's our warm floors. There's the system. All the pipes going underneath the concrete. Our vent controller for the top vents, electric. Our shade cloth timer. This is for our shade cloth. Controls that. That's about it for this room. That was the sign that was on our old greenhouse, the cathedral. These are our racks. This is well, that's my phone ringing. Hold on, I'll be right back. Soaking sinks, talking about these tubs. Kind of just show you the holes in them. Take the lids off. See how we did the holes. They're not big holes, there's a seed actually. You can see how big the holes are. And we got PVC pipes in the stainless steel sinks to keep them off the ground. Got 2 tubs, so we can fit 50 pounds, 25 in each tub. That's Jessica.
Not today.
Not today, you're not Jessica? Yes, you are. So here's how the racks look with the grass on them. Martine was probably filming while I was talking.
This is kind of an overview of how we have them designed. As far as the way we put them. Motor up there is for the shade cloth. That's that shade cloth. The electric shade cloth. There's fishing line, you can't really see it, but there's fishing line that runs holding a shade cloth up there. And these are the racks that have the trays that are covering the seeds. And keep them covered. So we use 2 racks. 2 of the racks are used every day. So you can see that this one's covered, that one down there is not. Okay, so those 2 racks. Is there an empty rack anywhere? I don't see any. Oh yeah, here's an empty rack right here. Guess what an empty rack, how big an empty rack is. And well, this is only a double rack. I don't even know my own racks. We had to make the double racks because of the vents. This against the wall, we couldn't have a triple rack because you wouldn't be able to get to the third one. So if it was 3 of them, you'd only be able to get to the first 2. The back one would be too far against the wall. So we just made a double of this. We just made these 2. We cut off this last section, and that's how we got this thing. I got shade cloth all around it. That's what that is, that shade screen. I put 2 pieces of shade screen on. This is my shade screen that I got on top. This is what it looks like. It's that aluminum kind of metal with the air circulation slots. That's what's on top of the greenhouse. I got it from McConkey's. But anyway, it's a general idea. There's my grass that's ready to cut tomorrow down here. I got thermometers, temperatures, just so I can kind of keep an eye on how cool it is. It always stays nice and cool in here. Never really gets above 80 because of the shade. And this grass is going to be cut tomorrow. Kind of looks like your grass. Gee, I wonder why. Same seed. This one we just uncovered last night. You can see it's just about, but at this time we already have our roots in the soil, and we don't use a lot of soil either. You can see that. Not a lot of soil in there. Just a little bit. Oops, excuse me. The heck was that? That wasn't me. Water. Water pipes. What else? Oh, here we go. These are going to be uncovered later today. Let me see here. Which one am I lifting up? It's just starting to turn into grass. And we missed a spot over there. So it'll be uncovered tonight. Our sunflower, buckwheat, sunflower. Beautiful sunflower. Wow. That's pretty. We turn a tray upside down on top of it for 2 or 3 days to let it grow tall. Other than that, we keep weight on top of it, which means all the bottom ones. These are all, there's the sunflower. And then we keep the buckwheat on top of the sunflower and an empty tray on top of the buckwheat. Sunflower needs the weight to make them grow a little bit more even. This was a half and half tray. I did half buckwheat and half sunflower that she cut. Get like a red stemmed buckwheat if you keep them in the sunlight for a little while. And then they're uncovered and start to green up like that one back there. You can see that one. Okay. That's what happens here with the sunflower. We still get the shells that kind of stick to the leaves. You just rub your hand across them, and when it's wet in the morning, and they'll pop right off. Okay, so here's the greenhouse from afar. So we have the double rack, and there's 3 of them, I think, 4 of them. Then we have 4 4 of the triple racks, all in a line. And there's 4 rows of them. I think this greenhouse is about 45 by 50, or 40 by 50. Our sinks, 6 sinks. Sliding door, the vents. There's another thing I like to show. I use these little clips, little paper clips to hold the bird netting on. They want to charge me $2,000 for bird netting when you open the vents. So I use the clips. And I got these other kind of clips here. Try to get this, see this one here? See this clip? Wait a minute here. It's a paper clip, but it holds the bird netting onto the fiberglass. Onto the Lexan. It's a little paper clip. Let me show you where I got those. That's where we do our planting in here. Martine, will you do a couple trays, set up the dirt so we can kind of get an idea of that? So I go buy the dirt. This is basically, we don't have any there, just gotta go get some. Okay, here's how we do the setup of the trays. We got the dirt now. Here's the dirt. It's basically sand, a little bit of vermiculite, little white mineral rocks. So he's taking a scoop, a red scoop, putting it in the tray. Now this is how easy this whole thing is. Got a little tool, spreads it back and forth, goes to the next one. That one's done. Spreads it back and forth, goes to the next one. That one's done. This is how easy this is with that little board. That one's done. That one's done. So 5 trays in a matter of a minute or so. Not even. He's gonna tamp them down a little bit, just to make a little firm mat. So when we plant the seeds in the morning, it's a little hard mattress. That's it. They're ready to use. Now we stack them on top of each other for the planting the next morning, put them over on a table, and then we come in the next morning and plant. How much seed do we use? That pink cup over there, that's how much seed we use. It's upside down now, but we use that cup and a little bit more, a little cone shape. It's Martine, he did the filming. That's where we keep our dirt, out in the little dirt bin. Cut the grass. Oh, I want to cut a tray too. Here's all our trays. Empty trays. Our cooler. We store our cut grass. We got numbers so we know how old it is. That's number 1. That's number 2. This is number 3. Just so we know that number 3 is the newest. Number 1's the oldest. We just grab from number 1, put it in so the guests can use it. My trays, new trays. Okay, let's watch him go cut a tray. This is getting boring. I'm gonna have fun watching it though. Okay, he's gonna cut a tray, cleaning out the tub. Gotta clean out the tubs before we can put the wheatgrass in them. I'm gonna show you how easy it is to cut a tray. Bought these knives at Butler's Mill over here. They're I think 12-inch knives. About $20 each. Martine's ordered me around. Razor sharp. This is how easy that is. And we got a whole tray cut. Put it in there, nice and neat for the guest. And this is the cut tray, cut pretty deep. Okay, here now, I want to do one. It's on. Shaking a little water droplets out. I like to take it out. Cut half the tray. Put it in. The other half. Make it nice and even. Thank you very much. Okay. You want to buy this camera, Martin? For you? 250 bucks, you can have it.
How much?
250.
Right now?
You don't have 250 bucks. Oh, turn the water on. Over here, over here. Let's see how we water. Oh, here it is. That's the wand from the Home Depot. That's how nice and soft it comes out. Okay, water some grass. That's how we water the grass. Water it until it starts to drip. Once a day. Water every tray. It's just starting to drip, so we stop and go into the next row. A lot of water. Okay. Gracias. Go one more place here. We're going to seed room. Say goodbye to the greenhouse. Okay. Da-da-da. That's all a new addition since you last been here. Okay, show you my office. Okay, that was nice. Go in here, the seeds. Lights. Arrowhead Mills, oh that's rye. There's some wheat here. It's the wheat that you're using. Here's my mutant wheat that I don't tell anybody about. Montana, that stuff is crap. And then we bottle all our seeds here. Do all the packaging of our own seeds. We buy them in 50-pound, 25-pound bags and then put them in our little bags for the store, little containers for the store. That's our seed department. That's where the old greenhouse used.
Welcome everybody to the Optimum Health Institute, How to Grow Sunflower, Buckwheat, and Wheatgrass. My name is Michael Bergonzi. I'll be showing you how to do that today. Got my trays, I got my dirt, now we're ready to go. Okay, this is very, very, very easy. It only takes a couple minutes a day. And we want you to do it at home. I'm going to make it look even easier. So here we go. Good. All right. So I'm putting the dirt in the tray. Now someone will ask me also, how much dirt you put in your tray? You can't put too much, you can't put too little. Okay, you can't make a mistake with how much dirt you're putting in your tray. Basically, all you have to do, fill it up about halfway. Maybe that makes it easier for you. Fill it up about halfway. Okay, kind of move your soil around, spread it around. So I'm spreading my dirt around. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to tamp the dirt down a little bit. Now, how we're going to do that, take an empty tray, put it right on top of the soil, and do this. This is how we're going to tamp the soil down. Okay, everybody can do that. That's pretty easy. Now, the only reason we're tamping the soil down is because it makes it easier to spread your seeds around. Okay, that's the only reason we're tamping the soil down. Just makes it easier. Okay. Now, if you want to, at home, what you can do is put another tray on top of it and set up your next tray. So you don't have to keep doing this all the time. You just set up one tray on top of the other, put them off to the side, so you have them every day. Now, one tray of wheatgrass is going to give you 16 or more ounces of juice. You can write that down. One tray of wheatgrass is going to give you 16 or more ounces of juice. Okay, now that'll kind of give you an idea of how much you might need when you go home. In other words, if all you're going to do is continue drinking the grass when you go home, then you need one tray every 4 days. If you're going to do our whole program, that's about 8.5, 9 ounces a day you'll need. So you need one tray every other day.
Now I'd like to bring up my guest, the guest star of the program. He is from Optimum Health Institute here in San Diego, and he runs the greenhouse there. He is in charge of the greenhouse, and his name is Michael. You can call him Michael Wheatgrass. And he's going to share some of his secrets, and he has a wealth of information about growing greens, and he's also going to make enough wheatgrass for everybody.
Juice.
I mean, wheatgrass juice. That's what I always call it, wheatgrass. You're right. It's wheatgrass juice. He's going to make enough wheatgrass juice for everyone to consume at the end of the program. So please welcome Michael.
Everybody enjoying lunch, dinner? I'd like to thank Sherry for letting me come here. She had called me up about a month ago, and I'm working at the Optimum Health Institute, and she said, I'm doing this thing, you want to come and show how you guys grow grass down there? Okay. So I'm actually 75 years old. I drink wheatgrass every day. Okay, I'm kidding. No, I said, my name's Michael, and I grow grass. I grow grass. I really enjoy that, being my age, going out with people my age. I say, what do you do for a living? Well, I grow grass. And of course, their first question is, how much? Can I buy some? No, it's not that kind of grass. So I'm going to show you just a little bit different way to grow your wheatgrass than what Sherry showed you. At the end of the class, I'm going to try to ask you to hold your questions till the very, very end, and you can come up to me personally and ask me. I don't have a lot of time to try to show you a lot of things. At the end of class, though, you're welcome to come up. I have up here, I have brochures from the Health Institute. I have price lists. I have seed catalogs. You can get your seeds from us. You can get the rack there at the Health Institute. You can get these trays. And we are right in Lemon Grove. It's about 10 minutes away from here. So I'll pass out that all at the end. And again, I'll actually hold your questions till the very end. If you do have something, go ahead and write it down, and I'll remember to answer it for you. At least I'll try anyway. I use a little bit of a different tray. I used more of a planting tray that looks something like this. And cafeteria trays are wonderful. They absolutely do work. Jerry's been using them for years, and Wigmore's used them for years. I'm growing about 150 trays of wheatgrass every day for the Health Institute. I soak about 100 pounds of seed every day. And the reason I use these planting trays is because I have a lot of people working for me. And this way, by using these, I can just tell them, go ahead and water heavy once a day. Now this means when they water heavy, the excess water is going to drip out. So they don't have to worry about overwatering or that kind of thing. But yet I know they're going to get enough water because they are going to water until it starts to drip. So that's what's good about these. I like them because there's holes in it so the excess water is going to drain. And it also holds all the soil in. Holds all the dirt in, meaning you're not going to have a big messy table after you put it in, although it looks like dirt's going to fall out now. It stays in pretty well. And it also holds the root mat in. Now Sherry was talking about how they form a big thick root mats. Okay, this has been growing for about 5 days. And as you can see, it already has a thick root mat. After only 5 days, I can already pull this out, and you can put it out if you want to conserve in your trays. You need more trays. The way this rack here is designed is every time you plant a new tray of grass, you put it on the bottom shelf, and you move the other ones up. The rack gets bigger, allowing the grass to grow. So it's kind of designed for fitting in your kitchen or out in your patio and your porch. If you're worried about water getting on your floor, if you have it in the kitchen, take an empty tray, put a bath towel in it, and just slide it underneath the rack, and it'll catch the excess water that drains down. Okay, that's
That's a sunflower that's just starting to get old. And how you can tell is, if you bend it open, you can see another set of leaves in there. There's another set of leaves starting to push out. When you can just see those leaves starting to push out, it's starting to get old, it's going to turn bittery on you. Okay, so you want to try to cut it before you can see those leaves coming out. Did we get that? Okay. Any other questions while I'm still on the sunflower, buckwheat, wheatgrass? I think I covered a lot of things. If I forgot anything, I'm going to get back, try to remember during it, and answer some questions if you have any. Okay.